All right, a quick review for the album Egotrip by Michel and Anthony James. I'm a little behind the curve. This came out May 23rd of this year, so it's August 23rd. I'm roughly 3 months late, or exactly 3 months late. Want to talk about it a little bit. Great album. And look at the numbers. Actually, I was going to say it's under the radar type of everything, which is probably somewhat accurate. But, honestly, multiple tracks with 500,000 streams or damn near close, which is pretty good because, as far as I know, these guys are somewhat under the radar in terms of popularity or numbers, whatever, right? And I think this album deserves more attention. The people that have mentioned it to me and explained it to me and said, Bobby, listen to it, you guys were right, man. Like, this is an incredible album. And I got notes, of course. I go back and forth. I want to talk about first if I want to talk about the album or the song. And really, I think what I want to do in terms of a review, in terms of telling you who might not have listened to the album, who might be listening to an actual review, if you're, some of us... It's a strange thing how there is so much hesitancy sometimes to go check out something new. I don't know why that is, but it's a thing. So if you don't want to check out a whole album, which this runs, it's 12 tracks, 37 minutes, check out track 11, World's End. Listen to that song. Find yourself 3 minutes where you're not interrupted, you're not distracted, and listen to that song. And then if you've got another 3 minutes, listen to it again. Listen to that song, World's End. I really want to focus on that one because I feel like it's a great snapshot of the album. It's really kind of the climax of the album, the conclusion of the album. So it's, in a way, it's almost a slight spoiler to the concept, I suppose, but it's not a huge deal. But I wanted to say, and Michel, if you're going to watch this, I'm assuming you'll probably see this because you commented on the reaction. That track is monumental, in my opinion. It's huge. Because that's the kind of song that saves someone's life. And I'm not trying to be dramatic and I'm not trying to glaze and all this other shit, right? All the stupid words your kids say these days. But that song, what is being said in that song, how it's being said, Anthony James bringing incredible production as he did throughout the entire album. This just full-on release. This full-on admission, kind of finally facing the mirror eye to eye in a sense. That song is so important in other people's lives because when they hear what you're saying and how you're saying it, they're going to hear someone who's feeling how they feel. And when that happens, they will realize they are not alone. And that is so huge on an emotional level when you're going through some shit. You finally realize I'm not a permanently broken, forever flawed human being that cannot redeem themselves from this state. You finally realize, no, I am not broken. I'm just going through it. So that's why that track to me is so huge. I've listened to that one a bunch just to soak in it because to me it's a very powerful song. What's being said, how it's being said. I was going to bring up lyrics, but I want you guys to just go listen to that track. Really listen to that one. Give it a couple spins. Really take in the lyrics and the emotion and the energy and the rawness of the vocals. Incredible song. One of my favorites from the year, easily for the year. One of my favorites. So with that, let's say you guys follow instructions, right? Listen to it, you're into it. Now you'll check out the album. And really, I like the album in a conceptual sense of, it feels like Michel, he put in the comments about how basically this album is 2 years of his life in his diary. So that's what we're listening to, is about 2 years worth of diary, which is a lot. But it's also very believable because the power that's coming through both lyrically and vocally is very present, very, very clear, in my opinion. But I like what he does in terms of the ego and kind of having this like high energy, fuck you in your face, kind of doing whatever I want. I don't want to say that. Not so much doing whatever I want, but basically presenting the ego and presenting it in a way that's somewhat common in hip hop in terms of, talking your shit and, keeping your head up and all that kind of stuff, but also presenting the ego and slowly turning it as a mirror to where essentially the album concept itself is the ego kind of swelling and raging and being out of control, but also at the same time, it's existing in this state to try and cover up this pain. And it feels like the album is an exploration in trying to look right back into the eyes of the ego in order to make it realize you're just a shell. And what's inside is pain and hurt and struggling and all those kinds of things. And so conceptually, I like how some of the brashness and the braggadocious style that is present in hip hop is essentially flipped around into a concept of personal reflection. I think he did a really good job with that. And it makes sense that if this is essentially 2 years of diary entries, that it would flesh out that way. But the execution is just well done. Regardless of how easy or difficult it was to pull off, it is very well done. Very well done. Favorite tracks I should touch on real quick. Love Egotrip. Love Preacher. Love Nobody. World's End is fucking amazing, obviously. Nobody is cool because I really like Kennedy Rose on that one. Her voice is very catchy, the little chorus hook or whatever it is that she's singing on that one. But the whole album is just, it's great. And in terms of production, Anthony James crushes it, in my opinion. I love what Anthony James has done in terms of, he's kind of blended all these elements. He's got energy, really high energy kind of mixed in there, but it's also in a lane of what I would consider kind of just good old-fashioned traditional hip-hop beat style. But then there's also lots of drum and guitar, and there's some soul. And so it's just this whole swath of sound. And sometimes you maybe think to yourself, God, there's almost too much, but it never does come across that way. The notes, everything that's going on, in which there's a lot, but it never muddies up with itself. Everything kind of stays in its lane, and you can hear everything and pick up on everything. It doesn't get too crowded. Lots of energy, really matches the power of the vocals from Jean-Michel. Just good shit, man. Good shit. What else do I have? I think that's basically it. I really mean it when I say about World's End. I mean, that's a song that it is the most listened to on the album, and I'm not surprised. It's just barely. But God, even if you guys are not interested in the album, maybe don't mess with it, listen to that song at least a couple times. Give that one a listen. It's just incredible. Incredible song. And then, of course, honestly, Sunday Morning Genesis, I love how it's almost like an exhale. I finally admitted all this shit to myself. I'm finally coming clean and essentially with this lie that is the ego of myself trying to cover up all this pain and this bullshit that I've been going through. And then Sunday Morning Genesis is almost like a start over, like a reset button. And so great closer with that track as well. But honestly, the whole album's great. Good shit. Highly recommended. I'm very glad everybody brought my attention to it, because definitely worth the attention. It needs more ears. It needs more listens. Great album. Yeah, there you go. All right, y'all. Take care. We'll see you soon.